Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another direct to YouTube special. This one brought to you by the folks who are supporting me via my Discord. So just as a heads up to anyone who doesn't know, if you subscribe to me on Twitch via your Amazon Prime for free, or if you throw $5 towards my channel a month, you do get access to my Discord where we chat about various things, help each other with deck building, that sort of stuff. And someone today posted this deck list from a 5.0 dump, and I went, this needs to hit the YouTube channel, and it needs to hit the YouTube channel right now. If you're interested in joining that Discord, Twitch Prime information is available via the video description. All right. Anyway, so rather than put this deck list in CMC order like I usually do, I try to drag some things into piles because False Cure is kind of a weird deck, and it's kind of an A plus B combo deck. So what's the game plan? The game plan is that you either have a False Cure or a Kavu Predator in play. So Kavu Predator says whenever an opponent gains life, you put that many +1/+1 counters on it. And False Cure says whenever a player gains life, that player loses 2 life for each 1 life they gained. In other words, it turns your life gain spells into burn spells. And then we have 10 different cards that are free that give our opponent life gain. So we can invigorate by giving them life, which will either put counters on Kavu Predator or act as a burn spell via False Cure. And then there's Sky Shroud Cutter, which if you control a forest, you can have each other player gain 5 life instead of paying its cost. And Reverent Silence, if you control a forest, you can destroy all enchantments for giving your opponent 6 life. So we have these 10 spells that are free that offer life gain for the opponent instead of paying their normal cost. And then you have these 8 spells that just are absolutely on roids if you can give your opponent life. So we're going to see how this plays out. One of my previous roommates had a False Cure deck that fell into the absolute meme category, and it steals games. If you can do something like play 2 False Cures in a turn or something like that, like your opponent's life total goes down real quick. And we'll see how this goes in action. We have a couple of things supporting the rest of the deck. We have some mana acceleration in the forms of Bird of Paradise, as well as Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. And we have both Dark Confidant and Sylvan Library to kind of keep the cards flowing. The sideboard is full of the stuff that you would expect from a green-black deck. We have Ley Lines and Plague Engineers, a pile of Chokes. The one thing that really seems absent to me is 1 copy of Collector Oof. That seems like a really high-impact sideboard card that didn't quite make the cut here. And I get it, the sideboard looks pretty tight. I'm going to trust the 5.0 deck list rather than try to make a bunch of changes myself, but that's the one thing that stands out to me that I kind of want access to that isn't here. All right, so this deck list 5.0'd, and that means there's at least something to it. We'll see how it plays in action. We'll see if I can put up some results of my own with this deck list. All right, folks, if you're excited for this video, go ahead and throw me a like. That sort of thing really helps out with my metrics. I cannot overstate enough how happy I have been with my YouTube metrics lately. It is keeping me pumped up and energized and making sweet legacy content for you all. And if you're really enjoying, consider doing something else to support the channel, even if it's as little as leaving a comment. All right, let's battle. Okay, my first hand has a Kavu Predator, but nothing really to do with it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one. Good luck to you. This one's fine. I'll be keeping this hand. I'm just going to throw back the Sylvan Safekeeper. I think it doesn't fit into my curve particularly well. All right. A lot going on this turn in terms of which one of these lands I play. I can be playing into a Stifle if I go for the fetch, but I play around Wasteland by doing it, and I really want to play around Wasteland. Fuck. Okay, drawing that other land there is quite good. I'm just going to lead on a bird here. So if the bird doesn't get bolted or dazed or something, it allows me to Kavu Predator plus Thoughtseize in the next turn cycle, which is probably a big deal. A false cure. Alright. Is this the turn where we metaphorically go for it and just play Kavu Predator? I don't know if I can take a turn to Thoughtseize. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Alright, we got to force a will for it. Then that's fine. Alright, my opponent is fetching away this Force of Negation that flipped their Delver. Whoa, that's bad for me. Although, that does mean the Kavu Predators are going to be very good in the future. I don't like how much pressure my life total is under right now. Same, but more. Alright. Man, we just can't catch a break here. Stifle, Bolt, Force of Will, Daze, we've been interacted with for different times. Missing my other land drop here from that Stifle was backbreaking. But then again, we'd be in the same position if my opponent had a Wasteland instead of the Stifle, right? Now I think the Uro comes back and I just can't win. And I really don't want to like show my opponent the false cure stuff. It's very possible that Arkan doesn't know what's going on here. Alright. So I can play the false cure. And I have 3, 6, 11 points of burn. Not quite enough. And the flyers in the air are going to kill me. Alright, I concede here. Am I choking the Delver deck? I want Abrupt Decay. Chokes maybe. I don't know if Plague Engineer is going to be good. Don't think I want Sylvan Safekeeper. And I think I need to slow my roll a little bit on the things that lose me life. That would be like this. I think Choke's okay on the play. Like, I have Uro to worry about. Let's try something like this. And we're going to go ahead and keep the Reverent Silence as just something that helps the deck to function. I think if we can get a Kavu Predator into play, it's going to be very hard to answer. Yeah, I'll keep this. I think this time I have to go with non-basics. I'm already going to be vulnerable to Wasteland this game. And if I'm already going to be vulnerable to the Wasteland, we're going to keep that alive. All right. Am I jamming Bob or am I jamming Choke? I think I jam Bob. All right, so we successfully played around Days by keeping Dryad Arbor around. But my opponent has just answered to, well, I should say tried to answer 2 important cards in a row. Okay. Do I false cure? I think I just jam Choke this turn. Suck it, Sylvan Library. Oh wait, there's Swords of Plowshares in here. That should have fetched Savannah, I guess. Nice. Note that if we're going to play the Choke, we really need to get the Reverent Silence out of our hand um, prior to anything else. It's pretty unlikely that my opponent can answer the Choke, but there are cards that do it. All right, we are flooding out real hard here. This is unfortunate. Next turn, I think I start jumping with birds. That's unfortunate. That Daze means that if they have a lightning bolt, they can kill my Kavu Predator. All right, we're going. We would like to put 5. Damn it. 5 +1/+1 counters on our creature. We've just been like one step behind this whole time. Fucking birds. Come on, man. Okay. Like, I'm not asking for much here. But I don't think it's too much to ask for something better than a Birds of Paradise or a land. I think this is the point where I just toss in the towel for this one. Alright. GG's, Arkin. GG's. Hand looks good. Oh, wait, there's no forest. Womp womp. Yeah, this'll do. I'll keep this and toss back one Bird of Paradise. We're gonna toss back this this promo art, I think. That just feels correct, you know? Alright, fine. This time we'll let ourselves be wastelanded instead. How does that sound? Bird. Is not that scary. I mean, if you can answer it, sure, go for it, but I don't usually think that Bird of Paradise results in someone going into the tank. Alright, my opponent has fetched a Watery Grave in response to my bird. Daze is fine. Also, if we're playing against Death Shadow, this whole, like, life gain thing might actually be really hilarious. Alright, are we going to cast a Brainstorm? I, I, I don't want to keep stopping and starting recording after every single play here. Are you double queuing or something? 'Cause if so, this is gonna be rough. Okay, my opponent cast and resolved a Brainstorm. Yep, there we go. The perfect play around Stifle, get wastelanded. Exactly as we drew it up. Jesus fuck. Alright. That's just the way this league goes, huh? Just the way this league goes. That sucks. I guess I need to fetch since my opponent is about to have a Stifle. The Stifle happens to be good against Kavu Predator, which is a little frustrating. My opponent's gonna get back like days too. I'm in an okay position if I get this next land in the next turn or two, but otherwise I'm just gonna die to Stifle plus Wasteland. Sylvan Safekeeper did its job there. The worst part about all of this is that I need to draw a non-fetch land because my fetch land just gets stifled. I mean, it's possible the Stifle goes back, but I would not be throwing back a Stifle if I was the opponent. Alright. I think this is the point where I just go ahead and concede. I can kill the Death Shadow, but if my opponent isn't, like, really clued in on what's going on here, they're not gonna know what I'm really doing. I'm gonna concede here and try to hold a little bit of equity for the next game. I want Abrupt Decays, and I think I'll play Chokes on the play, but not on the draw. Um, kind of do what I did versus Delver in the previous round, where I junk a lot of the things that are really super relevant for my own life total. All right. We have a theoretical big boy next turn. The Fatal Push kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right, my hand is quite bad now. Or it's not quite bad. Land is quite nice. We'll hold the Invigorate for a little while. I don't need to just blow it immediately. Because if my opponent just like Fatal Pushes the Kavu Predator in this turn cycle or something like that, it's not particularly good for me. Alright, that's not quite as good as doing it in combat, but it's fine. My opponent could have a Death Shadow, my opponent could have a Whale. My opponent could just have a Fatal Push. Dismember. Now my opponent is pausing. So, do they have a removal spell? Oh, maybe they have a whale. No, they have the dismember. Not great for me. But I don't think my opponent can attack with their Death Shadow. So that's the good news. If they attack me for 9, I attack them back for 3, and then a fetch land on their end is lethal. 3 swords, 3 abrupt decay to find. And this ponder will just shovel away that brainstorm. Ooh, it did not. Choke. Probably attack with Bob first. It was a little bit awkward because of my Bird of Paradise gets hit by a Fatal Push here. I just died to the onboard Death Shadow. But I don't think I have too much of a say about that. Yep. This is a real rough start to this league. Kind of all of the worst case disaster scenarios regarding like my initial mana have always come true. Okay, I've kept a hand that is a little bit mana light, so that'll most certainly come back to punish me given the nature of this league so far. But I don't know that I get to throw back a hand that has like Bird of Paradise plus Bob plus the False Cure combo. All right. So we're probably playing against Hogak. In which case, our Swords of Plowshares will be good. Oh, wow, that just whiffed on their end. I'm going to hope that this is helpful. It was helpful. Taking an altar there is pretty huge. All right, we're off to a much stronger start with this one, and my opponent showed me a fetch land that they didn't need to show me there. That was their draw for turn. Just in terms of doing the little things right, that's not it. Okay. Could have done the same thing with Verdant Catacombs, but... Oh, also, holy shit, this False Cure, though. Oh god, it's gonna be so good. Alright. Black, black. False Cure. I would like to Swords to Plowshares Hogak. You're at 18 life. You're at 26 life. You're at 10 life. You're at 10 life. How about some more life? Oh, baby. My opponent was at 18 at the start of this turn. This is the shit we came for. that was hot. Alright, so this and this are gone. It's just Kavu Predator that I want, right? Yeah, so that's 3 mana. Use that. Doesn't really matter. I should technically attack before doing this, but I'm not expecting my opponent to have anything at all relevant here. Now that I have the Sylvan Library, I'm fine with trading Dryad Arbor for Dark Confidant. Just obligatory on their end. Nice, nice. I want ley lines. I can do things beyond ley lines, but I'm less sure about those. I think, kind of like with the Delver decks, my life total is going to be under some amount of pressure, so I think I'm going to junk the Sylvan Libraries. And just assume that making a big tramply boy is good. On the draw, what do I think about Thoughtseize? Fine, somewhat unexciting. I think I'm going to bin it. Like, I can think about Plague Engineer. I can think about the Rex Sage. This hand's not bad, but it's also not good. Like, I don't have black for False Cure. I do have a turn 2 Kavu Predator. I think a Leyline hand is better than that. Yeah, I like this hand better. Which one of these, I guess? Alright, so I lose Kavu Predator. Okay. So I kept in my Destroy All Enchantment card. I guess that's a little bit awkward if I'm bringing in Ley Lines, huh? Hmm. Alright, we're just gonna hope that doesn't come up, and we'll adjust the sideboarding for the next game if we lose this one. Goodbye, Kavu Predator. I knew thee well. And I don't love that. I guess I'll floop it into play. I continue to miss on draws. I can just, like, start attacking for one. That's not where I want to be, but it can be a way to do the thing. Alright. Bridges and lands going to exile. Alright, this card not particularly relevant right now. Neither is this card, though. Just go ahead and do a bit of my marginal thinning here. Yeah, each one of these careful studies really kind of stings for my opponent. Because, like, it costs them a card for that selection. They're not breaking even there. Oh, wow, they have so many lands. Okay, they get my Swords to Plowshares. But the top of their deck has been exceptionally bad. Like, they haven't even just found, like, a 2/2 or something to put into play. Is this enough for me to want to False Cure? Given circumstances, it might just be. Like, I got a Lava Axe worth of value. I'm good with that. Classic timing. I still don't regret firing it off last turn, for the record. Like, my opponent is in a weak situation. I might as well capitalize on that while I can. Because I don't know that they're guaranteed to stay in that weak position. Okay, False Cure starting to do its thing in round 3. We're good with that. That Hogak play was sick. So I'm starting to feel like the mana base of this deck list is off in some way. Just about every hand that I've had has been either soft to mana denial or a little bit mana hungry. And then we've mulliganed 1, maybe 2 hands for color-based reasons. Alright. So we're getting Thought Seized. The Green Sun is the most valuable card in my hand. But it may be difficult for my opponent to figure that out. Oh, that's a very good draw. My hand is much more redundant now than it was just a second ago. If we are playing against a fairish deck here, I like my position. If we're playing against, like, Dark Depths or something, I don't like my position. Holy shit! I literally do not believe I am recording a False Cure mirror. This is sick. Okay. I'm gonna grab a Kavu Predator, and I'm gonna sandbag my Sky Shroud Cutter for a turn in hopes of triggering it on 2 different Kavu Predators. I don't think that's too greedy. Assuming my opponent is on the same 75 that I copied, there's not that many discard spells. There's that. False Cure or another Kavu Predator would be sick draws. And Bob's fine. Scrubland. You have a Scrubland. Pick that up. Grab a Kavu Predator. We'll grab a Bob alongside of it. We make a large-ish Kavu Predator. So now Invigorate is really scary from the other side of the battlefield. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I don't think I can possibly beat an Invigorate, so I'm not going to play around it. I think I need to trade for this, hope they don't have Invigorate, and then, like, get a Source of Plowshares for their Kavu Predator. Don't do it. No! No! That is a 16/16 trampling Kavu Predator. Oh my god. Oh, we're so dead. Damn. Okay. Plug-in engineers can be death touchy bodies for the Kavu Predators. Corrupt Decays can answer the Kavu Predators, and Veil of Summer. Does this target? Whenever a player gains life, that player. Okay, that doesn't target. So Veil of Summer can stop discard. I don't know that that's actually super important. If we're both playing Reverent Silences, I don't know that it makes sense to have Sylvan Library, so I think my Abrupt Decays come in for those. Now, what do I think of Sylvan Safekeeper? If I get ahead on board, it's kind of good. If I'm behind on board, it's very bad. Well, this is a tutorable way to, like, keep my board presence when I'm ahead. I think I keep it in. I don't think I board any more than this. I don't know. Plague Engineer on human to kill Bobs is kind of good. All right, maybe I do want that. Let's junk this, and I don't know what the other card I junk is. Maybe that. I think we're going to go Hellbent pretty quickly. Yeah, here's the mana problems I was talking about. I'm going to keep this hand, and I think I'm going to toss back my False Cure in hopes that I either find another False Cure or, even better, a Kavu Predator in the first couple of turns. Alright, we're flooding a little bit here. I'm just gonna play a scrub this turn and go with Bob. I don't know if this Verdant Catacombs is ever going to want to become a Dryad Arbor, but I'm going to keep that possibility alive for right now. Alright, the Plague Engineer looking real hot right here. My opponent was on the same sort of hand that I was. My opponent is commenting about like how it is the literal mirror match, like because we have played exactly the same cards. Alright, well, Verdant Catacombs is no longer fetching Dryad Arbor. Denying them a card from their Bob is pretty good right here. I'm happy with how this is going. Despite the fact that we don't really have like a hand that's come together and is like doing the deck's thing. We've just played a powerful turn 2 and turn 3 card. Here we go. Oh, that's a boon. All right, so let's figure out what's going on over there. Invigorate? Their hand's pretty good. They just don't have the mana to deploy stuff. Invigorate is a free card. It buffs the Kavu Predator. I think I'm going to grab the Invigorate. Excuse me. All right. Now, do I get Spicy and attack? Since I have another Kavu Predator, they'd probably be pretty happy to trade. I think my Bobbin play is just so valuable, and like my Plague Engineer stopping their Bob from hitting play is also pretty good. Another Bayou, probably another Bayou. I guess I could have played my Dryad Arbor that turn. All right, Bob, find me more things to do with Kavu Predator, please. Bob? I think I'm crashing on in with a few creatures here. Think just with these. Let's start here. This is definitely a little bit spooky. in that, like, false cure into a life gain thing ends up being a whole shit ton of damage. Maybe for that reason, I should have pushed harder with these creatures to try to get a trade, while that was something that was still reasonable. I might be the favorite on board, but I don't know that I'm actually the favorite here. Oh, Sylvan Safekeeper is a human. That stings. All right, and continuing to talking about the mana bases, like, my opponent lost that game because they got stuck on mana, right? They had plenty of good cards, but they just couldn't cast them. Maybe 19 is not enough with this deck. Like, it kind of feels like 19 plus birds plus green shuns should be. I don't know. Like, maybe you don't get to squeeze the Caracas in there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna resubmit this. I don't think I'm gonna, like, flip-flop with the Inquisition or the Sylvan Library. Looks like my opponent is doing some adjustment of their sideboarding, though. I will absolutely be keeping this hand. Like, I have Thoughtseizes and Bobs in an answer to a largish Kavu Predator. I don't technically have the mana to cast that yet, but, like, you know, you can't have it all. And again, don't want to beat the dead horse about mana too much, but, like, I am very cognizant of the mana of this deck right now. I wonder if my opponent brought in Veil of Summer. It's a lot of burn. But I think it's correct to just grab the Plague Engineer out of this hand. I have double Bob. Alright. Do I want to stay mana efficient? Or do I want to take the False Cure? I kind of want to just take the False Cure. I can answer a Kavu Predator. I'm going to take the False Cure. Next turn, I have Bob with Holding Swords to Plowshares up. And then I can maybe start to grind some incremental advantage. Alright, and again, like, just talking about mana, it is so huge that my opponent misses their land drop here. That means that they didn't get to play their Kavu Predator and then, like, create, what, a 5, 10, or no, this is 3, 8, plus 2. Yeah, they just didn't get to vomit a 10/10 because they missed a land drop. Oh, that's obviously quite good. I believe that I will just go ahead and Swords to Plowshares that, and then hope that my Bob can find an answer to this stuff. The Bob subgame is real strong here. Alright, well, I would like to vomit my hand. Alright. My cards are on the table. I have a 7/7 and two 2-power creatures, one of which draws me cards. You will create a larger Kavu Predator than I have. This is just insane. Oh god. And they still have the Invigorate left over? Alright, Bob, we have work to do. We have work to do, buddy. Oh, Bob, that ain't it. That ain't it, Bob. So, Invigorate is really like +8. So, I can be taking close to 20 next turn. That's bad. I'm gonna play this bird. Because I don't think my opponent is in the situation where they just get to, like, hold back. Like, I think they're attacking next turn. I think I'm dead. Having to Swords to Plowshares that Plague Engineer was pretty rough. I think I go no blocks here. Oh, they're not willing to pull the trigger on the Invigorate. Yet. Yeah. I'm gonna hold back 2 cards in the hopes that, like, maybe my opponent doesn't go for it. But I'm either literally or effectively dead if they go for it. Oh, yeah. That is the end for me. Like, now my opponent has a 21/21 Trampler, or actually bigger than that. Yep. Alright. GG's. We're not getting through that. The false cure mirror, though. Was not expecting that. Um, awkward hand. This is a, like, let Sylvan Library take the wheel sort of hand. I think I'm gonna keep it, but I think this sort of hand is worse in this deck than it is in Maverick. I'm gonna try to disrupt my opponent in case they're a combo deck. They are not a combo deck. Alright, the Sylvan Library will probably be pretty good here. I feel confident in saying that. My opponent will probably be able to brainstorm into one of 6 force effects, so doesn't resolve, that's kind of bad for me. Alright, so this will prompt a brainstorm. No? Wow. That is surprising to me. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm at 14 from 2 thoughts uses already. Sylvan Library is just so good. Put that on top. I will take that card. Mostly to help me get deeper next turn. I might have pretty close to a kill next turn. False Cure plus Invigorate is worth a lot of damage when paired with Kavu Predator as well. Creeping Tar Pit, huh? And Fatal Push is unfortunate. That's a removal spell that my Invigorate can't save from, whereas I could have saved from something like a Bolt. I'm gonna put the False Cure back on top, I think. Pay life for this. My goal here is to be able to play double False Cure plus a couple of life gain things at the same time. God damn it. Now we're just gonna die to that Plague Engineer. Because we've done so much damage to ourselves. I'll take this hit from the Plague Engineer. I'll go to 4. I can no longer draw an extra card with Sylvan Library. Don't get to double False Cure anymore since both my birds died. That's rough. And I guess my opponent is just like a straight blue-black control deck. Explains why they can afford to have Wasteland. Alright, I think this is the point where I go ahead and throw in the towel. I don't want to show my opponent more cards here. That's pretty unfortunate. I need these Veil of Summers and Chokes. They should both be very good. What's coming out? I'm board the Reverent Silence is out if I'm bringing in Chokes and leaving in libraries and assuming they're going to be good. What's the weakest part of all this? The False Cure is here, and my body matters. Taking out too many False Cures means I'm much more reliant on the Kavu Predator, so maybe I don't get rid of all of them. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing like a Bob library choke sort of control game most of the time, and this plan is fine. I'm gonna keep all the Swords to Plowshares because getting the Death Touchers out of the way is probably big game. Yeah, I will keep the hand that just lets me jam. Turn 2 choke. Hand's a little soft to a Thought Seize for my liking, but alright. So, how many removal spells did your opening hand have? Did it have at least 2? If not, I have a hell of a clock. Not catching much of a break here in terms of, like, Flood versus Screw. I don't feel like I've had a very balanced league in that regard. This does only get 1 land here, but that's pretty great. Actually, since my opponent has Wasteland, I probably shouldn't have fetched. I probably should have just played one of my basics. I'm fine with trading away this for the Baleful Strix here. I don't think my opponent will take that trade. Like, I have bigger game in the deck that they might want to be blocking later. Should have restarted the league before this match. Definitely starting to feel that whole moto lag thing pretty badly here. See if my opponent blocks here. I don't really want them to, but if they don't, it's very good for me to take that Planeswalker out of play. Otherwise, I'll just keep that out of zombie range for the time being. My opponent has 1 basic swamp left over. I'm fine with that. Oh shit, this one doesn't trample. Oh, I'm an idiot. I mixed it up with another card. Yeah, there's a punish for me. I mixed up my, what is this, Invasion, Odyssey? I don't know the symbols that are that old. I wasn't playing around back then. Yeah, I think I'm just going down here. But this game is my fault for mixing up that had trample. I guess I can technically beat this ultimate by getting through with a large tramply Kavu Predator. But my opponent is sitting on 4 cards. I'm not super hopeful about that. And because they control a Liliana Planeswalker, that also gets a card out of my hand. Which is unfortunate because Swords of Plowsharing is one of those zombies was going to give me a bunch of +1/+1 counters. I'm a little too all in on this Kavu Predator for my liking. I think as soon as this is removed, I'm effectively dead. And my opponent is going to have persistent black mana pretty easily. Yeah, I think I'm comfortable conceding here. Oof. That was a rough league. Alright, overall thoughts on the deck list. Number 1, something is wrong with the mana base. I feel pretty comfortable in saying that without sitting down with a hypergeometric calculator. I don't know what exactly, but the numbers on the mana base feel off somehow. Like, I don't know if there's not enough lands, or if some of the color distribution isn't right, and like the Caracas is too greedy, or what. But my mana definitely felt off this league. Thing number 1. Thing number 2, I don't know if Choke is actually good in this deck. So I resolved Choke multiple times, and I think I lost every single time that I had played a Choke. I don't know that this deck capitalizes well on Choke. Like, you're much, much worse at being like the long grindy deck than most of the decks that you're playing against. And Choke is one of those things that's nice. Like, you constrict your opponent resources, and then you get a lot of value over time. And so, in decks like Maverick or 4-color Loam, where you're pretty well suited to playing this longer game, I think that Choke does well. But here, a lot of times you're looking to play this burst game where you're looking to do one thing, you're looking to do it consistently and well. And then, like, every time you board in a card like a Choke, you're taking one of your core pieces out of the deck. And I don't know if that's where you want to be. I don't know what I want instead exactly, but I just died a bunch with Chokes around. That's kind of my anecdotal observation so far. I don't know if the deck needs to be white just for Source of Plowshares. Like, the Source of Plowshares on the Hokak was real hot. Like, that was really cool. But maybe dropping the white and finding some other things to slot into the main deck might give you a more balanced game plan. I don't know exactly, but that would be one of the directions I'd be wanting to explore. I also kind of feel like I want more Abrupt Decays. That card felt really solid, answering Planeswalkers, answering aggressive threats, answering Kavu Predators in the mirror. I will say this deck feels exceptionally poor against Mana Denial. Like, the Wastelands and the Stifles were absolutely backbreaking, and those were in addition to my own mana problems that I was having. So maybe, like, when you drop some of the Swords of Plowshares, if you try that out, maybe you're supposed to add a land. I don't know exactly. It was fun. I enjoyed this league. We did some things, like, you're into Twitter screenshots of ridiculous stuff. I've got some nice fodder for that. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, leave me a comment. Those sorts of things really help my channel grow, and that's the best way to support me without financially just like throwing money at me to get one of your donations on stream. Have a great rest of the day, folks.